All righty, good afternoon and welcome to our final series of the Money Monday series. My name is Katie Combs. I'm the Adult Programming Librarian for the Fort Worth Public Library, and I'm here to teach you a little bit about holiday spending. So this will be a pretty quick overview, but I'm also down to take any kind of questions that you may have or any kind of tips that I can give you to get through the holiday season. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Now, this is a presentation that we have curriculum. We've used the curriculum over the last couple of weeks from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. They didn't have any curriculum about holiday spending, so this is all me, but I did want to give a nod to them and say thank you so much for letting us use your curriculum so that we can share it with you guys. Feel free to use the chat box. You should be on the right hand of your screen. You can go ahead and send any kind of chat to all panelists or all panelists and attendees. If you want to send it to the whole entire group that we have today, you can go ahead and send that to all panelists and attendees. But if you're just sending it to me and just want a private anonymous question, feel free to just send it to all panelists, totally up to you. So let me go ahead and get in PowerPoint mode here. All right, so holiday spending. So this is a really hot topic because it's a really big part of your spending throughout the year. And a lot of people tend to go into credit card debt or struggle in the holidays whenever they get to December and realize that they did not plan accordingly. And it is a really expensive month. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to save money during the holidays and how you can start saving in January to make sure that you are well prepared for the rest of the year. So let's see. So this is how we're going to start a little bit about how to build your savings goal. So say it's December and maybe you didn't plan so much this year. We're totally fine. We're going to make it through December. It's been a really difficult year. I know a lot of people have been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. And so we're just going to talk about how we compare better for next year. So what you really want to do is make sure that you start your savings goal as early as possible. So this could be you're going to start saving this month for next year's, or you can just start in January. So a lot of people start in January and make sure to get that 2021 savings goal. So how do you build that savings goal? How do you find that number that you need? So what you would want to do is just get a little piece of paper down and start tracking down your holiday spending categories and a list of estimated expenses. Now, those aren't just gifts, right? So if you're traveling, I mean, hopefully next year we'll be traveling a little bit more, but if you're traveling, you want to put in mind for airfare, maybe gas. Are you going to stay along the way? Do you need to get a hotel where you're staying? These are all expenses that you're going to have to look for and keep in mind. Now, also do not forget things like decorations. Maybe you want to get a new tree. Maybe you need to buy wrapping paper. I always think I have wrapping paper until I actually go to wrap my gifts and I don't have any. Usually I don't have any tape. I can't find any scissors. So these are all things that you're going to have to keep in mind as you go on and build your savings goal. So go ahead and just start thinking. Maybe you're welcome to put some things in chat to start listing some things that you are going to have to plan for your holiday spending categories. A lot of people have travel, gifts, and decorations, maybe holiday dinner, something like that. So it's really personalized and really up to you. My personal ones, again, would be gifts. I usually have them all in just one pile, gifts, and then I have travel expenses because my family lives out of state. So these are things that you're going to have to decide for yourself what your spending categories are. And then it's kind of what we talked on earlier, what kind of activities or events you'd like to attend with family and friends. Now, say, okay, I'm not traveling, but I would like to go to maybe a holiday party, or I would like to go to a tree lighting ceremony. Maybe you want to go to let's see, holiday in the park, maybe if Six Flags is back open, or maybe the tree lighting ceremony downtown. These are all things that you're going to want to look for and think of what kind of activities or events that you're going to want to attend, and then what kind of expenses you're going to be looking at. Now, say you go downtown and want to do the tree lighting ceremony, you're going to have to think of things like parking. Maybe you want to grab a dinner while you're down there. Maybe you go to an ornament exchange and you need to make sure you have an ornament. These are really small things that can add up over time. And they are things that you don't normally plan for in a monthly budget. So you're going to want to keep those in mind and make sure that you have well planned for those. So you want to write down what kind of activities or events you would like to attend. You also want to see what types of coupons or discounts you can get on your favorite events. So talk a little bit more about how to get cash back, how to get discounts on holiday spending, but these are some kind of coupons or discounts you can think of right now. So start looking a little bit earlier Maybe if you're having to fly, maybe you want to kind of look at flights earlier and make sure you can get a lower price. These are things that you can kind of like start thinking of, and that way you can buy those events early. Another good thing to look at, we'll talk about a little bit later, is how to get a gift a little bit cheaper, maybe during the year. So as we all know, as the holiday season gets closer, stores start kind of advertising the holiday gifts a little bit more, and they may start increasing those prices. So you want to make sure that you're planning ahead and making sure that you were looking for these gifts maybe back in maybe June or July, to make sure that you're getting a really good deal on the gifts and events that you're planning on doing anyway. So another thing is how many people you plan on buying gifts for during the holidays. So, as you maybe get a little older, you start meeting more people, you may have more people to buy gifts for. So you want to make a list and make sure you can kind of just get out a rough budget. I have, Tim, Susie, and Diane, and this part of my family, and this people in the other family. So you want to kind of keep that in mind and kind of start planning out how many people you have to buy gifts for. Now, then you have to kind of see, okay, what savings do I already have? So do you already have a Christmas fund from 2020 that you can roll over into 2021 from what you don't spend? That can be your base savings. Or you're starting completely from zero, which is totally fine. Now, you also want to look at, can I look at any other savings and see what I can draw from that savings? Do I have some other money stashed away that I can use for Christmas? So it's always really important to see what you have, and that way you know how much more you need to save. You then want to look at how frequently you want to save. So is this going to be something that you're going to contribute to monthly, maybe bi-weekly? Maybe you say, I get paid a bonus in March and I will put 10% of that bonus into my Christmas fund. This is really important to see, your main savings goal, and then how you're going to break it up throughout the year to make sure you're not, having to pay all of that in November and December as you go shopping. And then you also want to look at any kind of charitable giving. So if you're looking for, maybe I would like to donate this much to the Salvation Army, or maybe I would like to donate this to United Way. If this is something that you feel called to do, you also want to keep that in mind in your savings goal to make sure that you have that money ready to go when the time asks for it. Okay, so this is a little bit more about how frequently you want to save. So say I am in January, I would like to have $500 saved for Christmas in December. So that means that I will have to save $42 a month, or $20 a paycheck. Now I am rounding a little bit, so just estimating a little bit. So also maybe I need $1,000 savings goal. I need $83 a month, or $40 a paycheck. Now, if I told you today, it's December, it's right around December 1st, December 1st is tomorrow, and I said, okay, you're going to be spending $1,000 on Christmas. Do you have that money going ahead and ready to be set aside? This might be like a really big number, and say, no way. I don't need to save that much. But if you save it, those little bite-sized chunks, $40 a paycheck, maybe, and we'll talk about a little bit later, that you can go ahead and draft those out of your checking account so you don't even see them. We'll speak on that a little bit later, but these bite-sized chunks might be a little bit harder, a little bit easier to work in your budget than a big $1,000 goal right away. Okay, so the next thing, so also how to find that goal, right? So you want to kind of make sure that your Christmas budget or your holiday budget is very realistic. So you're going to want to examine your past spending. So this is something that I did when I first started to kind of create a holiday goal. I really didn't know how much I used to spend. I used to kind of just charge it all on my credit card, and then I'd pay it right off. My credit card statement would always be astronomical in January, and I would have no idea why. And I would say, oh, well, I thought I put some stuff on there, but I wasn't really sure. So I wasn't really sure how much I had spent and how much I was planning to spend. So this is something you might want to do. Pull statements from your last year, pull statements from November and December, and add up how much you spent on your Christmas gifts now, or your holiday spending. So you may go back and go through Amazon. What orders did you place around November and December? This is kind of gives you a really rough ballpark. If you're not really sure what gifts you want to buy yet, and you're just kind of looking to get a rough budget in place, go back and look at that spending and see how much you normally spend. You may have to go through a couple of years to get kind of an average, or you can just pull last year's and kind of guesstimate from there. You also want to review your current bills and expenses to see where the spending can be cut. Now, say we went back and I said, okay, if you want to save $1,000 by Christmas, you're going to have to spend or save $40 a paycheck. And you say, no way, I do not have that in my budget. That is too much. Now you kind of want to look at, okay, well, where can you cut back? Where can you get that $40? Now that can be eating out less, maybe start calling your cable providers or your phone bills, and kind of seeing where you can kind of cut back those expenses to see where you can find that $40. Something that's very easy to do in January. And at the beginning of the year, they may have some specials going on. This is the time to do that, to get that extra money freed up. Now, another thing you could do is a no spend week. Say, this is something that I recommend to people that may feel like their spending is a little bit out of control, is to just take a week and don't buy anything that's not a necessity. You can buy your groceries, fill your gas up in your car, anything that you could consider a living expense and a necessity living expense. But this means, no Amazon, not stopping by at McDonald's if you have food at home, that kind of thing, kind of reset yourself. Now that could very easily, depending on your spending habits, get you that $40 a paycheck or $40 a month. If you just have a one week where you decide not to spend anything, that could get you that money that you're used to spending anyway, and just kind of shuffle that towards savings. So these are some things that you can examine the spending to find which holes you have. That way you can fill it with savings. Okay, as we talked about a little bit earlier, plan your travels early. So start looking at flights early and looking at traveling during an off-peak day. Now, a personal example, my parents live in Virginia, a little bit 30 minutes outside Washington, D.C. I fly up there maybe 3 or 4 times a year. I never spend more than maybe $90 for a round trip flight. I use an app called Hopper, which is not sponsored in any way, but something that I use. And that's how I find a cheap flight. It kind of monitors what dates I'm going and kind of sees which dates would be beneficial and has the lowest flights. Now, for Christmas, I've looked at kind of Christmas flights, and they are easily about $100 to $150 more expensive for a round trip ticket because it's a holiday season and a lot of people are traveling. Now, this year, a lot of people are staying home, which is great. So you want to kind of look in mind and make sure that that's going to affect your traveling at all. But you want to start looking at flights early and make sure that you're traveling during a non-peak time. Now, maybe, of course, Christmas is the same day every year, so it's not really an off-peak time that you can go. But you may want to look at those maybe Tuesday, Wednesday flights, maybe a little bit earlier in the morning. Maybe you're flying into a different airport. If you're going somewhere and they have 3 or 4 airports nearby that you can fly into, maybe look at the one that has the cheapest flights and look at that one. See if the people that are getting you or your Uber or Lyft can get you a little bit further away. These are kind of those things that you want to kind of keep in mind. Now, you want to make travel arrangements early at hotels, family homes, and Airbnbs. Now, a lot of hotels and Airbnbs, you can book up to those about a year in advance. So you kind of want to look at those, really kind of look around. That way you're not scrambling to find something at the last minute. These are things that you can also kind of negotiate your price on. Maybe if you get a little bit early, you can get a lower price before they start, kind of cranking up for the holiday season and increasing those prices a little bit. You also want to make sure when you're looking at traveling and staying at a family home, make sure you're keeping in mind if you're going to need to chip in for any kind of groceries, anything like that to kind of make up for your stay. So you also want to shop around for deals and compare those rates at different sites. So a lot of people have heard of sites like Priceline, Kayak, Expedia, Travelocity. Those are just a few where you can kind of look at maybe it would be cheaper for you to get a bundle deal on a hotel stay in a car, or you can kind of see what other flights and what other hotel stays are comparable to different times during the year. So these are things to look at. I also mentioned that app Hopper, looking for different kinds of apps and deals that you can look at to make sure you're getting the lowest price for your traveling costs. Okay, so those of you who use credit cards, you want to get those balances down to 0. So a lot of people use credit cards for the cash back or for the bonus rewards, anything like that, maybe the miles. That way you can kind of get those benefits. A lot of people use those benefits during Christmas and during the holidays. So if you're planning on leveraging that holiday spending to kind of get those credit card points that you can redeem for travel and cash, you should try to pay off those small balances you have ahead of time. That way, it's really great. Say I have my Christmas budget. I would like to put all of my Christmas spending on my Discover card. I have 5% cash back. A lot of those cards have different cash backs at different times of the year. So like for Discover, for an example, they have cash back at Target, Walmart, and Amazon between the holiday spending months, November and December. So they take advantage of that, and you may want to take advantage of that too. But if you have a higher balance on that card, you may not want to charge more money on it. That's more interest that you're going to have to pay later. So say you get those credit card balances down to zero. You already have your Christmas spending set aside in another savings account. Go ahead and put all that Christmas spending on that credit card and make sure you have the money to pay it off the next month in January. So enjoy the benefits of accumulating more reward points and cash back without having to take on any debt. So this is very important. It goes very hand in hand with having that money in cash ready to go. So maybe you have that money, but you don't spend it in December. Maybe you spend it in January. So make sure you have that money set aside so that you can pay that credit card balance down to zero. Make sure you don't have any more credit card debt carrying over, and you still take advantage of those reward points. Okay. So do your research. A lot of people get taken advantage of by Black Friday deals or Cyber Monday deals. And if you didn't know, it is Cyber Monday, November 30th, it's Cyber Monday. So you want to make sure that the big ticket item or any other item that you may be getting on these sale days is a good deal. So this is when you start that research back in January. You may want an Instant Pot, right? So you start looking at prices for the Instant Pot and kind of seeing, okay, it's around $100, okay, and then you can start looking. So maybe when that Black Friday sale comes on, you can say, okay, that may be a good deal or maybe not. So it really just depends. So you want to kind of look at maybe in May, you come across the Instant Pot and it's on sale for $65. And maybe you have a coupon. So these are things that you can act on, those really good deals, and you've done your research, you know that's a good deal for that item, so you can go ahead and grab it while you can. So check prices online before heading to the stores. A lot of retailers offer coupons and special deals on their website. A lot of places will price match. So you want to kind of see, okay, if Target has this item, maybe see if Walmart can price match it. These are kind of things that you want to look for, make sure you have in your back pocket to save as much money as you can. So for items priced around $100 or less, best specials might be the week before Christmas. This is another thing. So you want to kind of make sure you have that research in mind. So when you do go look for that deal, you know whether it's a good deal or whether you're just getting it because it's on sale. So these are one of those things that you want to kind of keep in mind and make sure that you've done your research beforehand so you know and you're qualified to make that decision. You can also search through circulars. Another one is, we do have those little paper ads that come in the mail. So you still want to go through circulars and holiday papers, look for coupons on the internet before going through big sale weekends like Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So you want to kind of keep those in mind. Do your research beforehand so that you know exactly what you're getting when you go in, you know exactly what price you're getting it at, and that way you're well prepared. Okay, you also would like to use apps and websites for cash back. So these are just a few. Fetch Rewards is an app where you can take pictures of your receipts and they give you points based on the different kinds of items that you buy. Basically, the producers of the item have a deal with Fetch that they will, if you buy that item, you will get extra points. You can also look on the website and see which items are being given for more points ahead of time. That way you can know which ones to look for. So say you usually use Bounty, but Tide is having a deal and you can get more points that way. You may want to get Tide instead of Bounty if they're the same price. Those points accumulate into gift cards. So you can get gift cards for Starbucks. You can get a Visa gift card. Really, they are redeemable most anywhere because you can get a Visa gift card from there. And you can also get a regular store card as well. So these are really good. Fetch Rewards is a really great tool to look for to kind of accumulate those. Rakuten is a kind of a web add-on. So you can go to their site. If you shop through their site, you may get cash back from Rakuten. So you can go on there, say you're already planning on shopping at maybe say Target, they say, okay, well, if you shop at Target, if you click through this link, we'll give you 5% cash back on whatever you spent. And it is really reputable. A lot of people use it. So I recommend that one as well. Another one that I've personally used is Ibotta. So Ibotta works very similar to Fetch Rewards. Scan those receipts in, they tell you what points you can get, you can redeem for gift cards. All the other ones I've done research on online that were really well recommended, but I haven't personally used, so I will only speak on the ones that I've currently used and I would recommend for myself. Okay, so exploring holiday savings accounts. So a lot of people, they say, okay, I have the money, I know how much I need to put aside, but where should I put it? Last week, we talked about protecting your financial future. So we talked a lot about savings accounts, which ones are really good, which ones are not really super great. So these are just a couple of, you have holiday clubs. So see if your bank or credit union has a holiday club. So basically what that does is you can set up automatic transfers from your income, your paycheck, and it will go straight into that account. You never see it, and that way it can kind of grow and you don't have to make that decision every paycheck to send that money. It is already automatically sent and it builds up over time. Another one is Ali Bank. They allow you to create different buckets. So it's one savings account. It's an online bank. The interest rate is usually pretty great, usually around 1% to 2% on that savings account. But you can also distribute the money that you have into different buckets. So say I have 5 buckets. I have my wedding savings account. I have my Christmas savings account, my pet savings account, my car savings account, and my emergency money that I need to tap into in case of job loss. So I can separate that money into different kinds of buckets. That way I know exactly how much I have in each account at one time. Now, as I said earlier, it is all the same account, one full account. Your account may be, $5,000, but you have $1,000 in each bucket. So that makes sense. Capital 360 does pretty much the exact same thing. So these are accounts that if you need an account that's specific for your Christmas savings account and you want to make sure that you won't touch that, you will try not to touch that money beforehand, you can put it in those savings accounts. That way you have it when it's ready to go. Now, what's good about these is it does take 3 to 5 days to transfer back into your account. So as we talked about last week, I don't necessarily recommend these for your maybe emergency fund, the money that you need right now. I need this hooked up to my bank account so I can transfer it over. But these are ones that you can look at for different kinds of sinking funds, as in you're using these short term, you're just building up savings until you need them. So look at those. They're really great. Look at the holiday clubs to see whether that's something you can do through your bank or your employer, and make sure to build those accounts on ahead of time. Now, it's also really important that when you're building those accounts, say I need $1,000 by December, that doesn't necessarily mean that you spend all that $1,000 in the month of December. The really great thing at saving that money ahead of time is being able to have access to it throughout the year. So that ties in the entire thing about doing your research, making sure you're looking at deals throughout the year. That is so you can make that decision when it is great for you. So I've bought Christmas gifts back in May, maybe even I bought one maybe in February. I see a really good deal. I know it's a really good deal because I've researched the product before, and I go ahead, I'm able to get that deal because I have money set aside. So these are things that make your holidays less stressful, making sure that you're keeping that idea in mind, that being prepared and protecting your future. That way you're not going into debt or maybe, getting short on bills because of a holiday kind of crept up on you. So that is just a short presentation about how to protect yourself and make sure you're prepared for the holiday season. If y'all have any questions at all, go ahead and put them in chat or the Q&A box, and I would love to answer them for you. That is wrapping up our Money Monday series. We had Money Mondays for every Monday in November. All of the past recorded presentations are on our library's YouTube page. Just go to YouTube, go to Fort Worth Library, and all of the ones from the last 5 weeks will be online.